We are here with Stephen Kopel. Stephen, what do you do?
I am a casting director in New York City for the Roundtable Theatre company and Carnahan Casting.
Where did you go to high school?
Here in Kansas, obviously, Shawnee Mission West. Vikings, right? I think we were the Vikings. Yes.
Vikings.
That shows you how many football games I went to.
Well, we're in theater. Did you do a lot of productions in high school?
Yeah, I did every musical in high school, and also probably 10 or 11 MTYP shows over the years. It's sort of where my love of the theater first started, actually.
Which was your favorite show?
You know, I did Once on This Island twice with MTYP, and it's probably one of my favorite musicals. That's why I think that one probably wins.
Yeah. So after high school, where did you go to college, and what was your major?
You know, I spent a year in Oklahoma at the University of Tulsa. It was a private school and really expensive, and I actually didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life. So I transferred to Wichita State for my sophomore year and was a musical theater major. Although I never really loved to act. So at my junior and senior years, I started taking some directing classes and sort of really enjoyed that, but realized that what I loved most about the directing process was the casting process and finding, you know, the perfect actor for each part, and, you know, all the different ways you can cast a part, you know, just playing with age and race and sex and all those different things. You know, it was really interesting to me how much a show could change based on who was playing a part. So I guess my senior year of high school, I decided to really, or my senior year of college, sorry, I decided to really pursue casting as a career.
So did you test the waters in acting after you graduated, or did you just jump right in?
You know, I didn't. By my junior year of college, I was just sort of done performing. You know, I did a show here or there just to keep my scholarship. But other than that, I sort of knew late into my high school, or late into my college life, that acting was not for me. It made me a crazy person.
Do you recommend getting a degree in theater or musical theater in order to advance your career in the industry?
I do, for a couple different reasons. I find that when you graduate high school, you're just not quite ready, or most people aren't quite ready to go straight to New York or Chicago and start a professional career. And that has less to do with talent than it has to do with just the ability to cope in such a competitive environment. And college is just a really nice transition. You know, not to mention you're learning a lot, you're building your skill sets, you're taking voice every day, you're taking acting classes every day, you're meeting a lot of new people, and those new experiences, I think, inform, you know, who you become as an actor. And I think it's a great stepping stone to that professional career. I think going straight from high school to such a large competitive market can be really just overwhelming, and you just aren't quite sure how to go about it yet.
When did you move to New York, and what was your first job?
I moved to New York a couple weeks after I graduated from college, and I did an internship, actually. I was a part-time intern for the Roundabout and for Carnahan Casting, where I still work today. I was a free intern, then a paid intern, then an assistant, then an associate, and now finally, 7 years later, a casting director. So I was actually very lucky to find a place that sort of taught me how to do this job, because there's no real way to learn. You know, you can't go to school to study casting. It's just a skill you acquire by, you know, sitting in auditions and seeing every show you possibly can and seeing every movie you possibly can and just learning about actors and what works on stage.
So how did you get involved in the casting business, and how did you move up in your career so quickly?
I think to be a casting director, you just have to have a real passion for the theater and for actors specifically. You know, the best casting directors I know love actors and just love helping actors and helping them get a part. There's nothing that feels better than, you know, finding an actor somewhere that no one else knows and, you know, auditioning them and coaching them and helping them through the audition process, and by the end you've cast them in their first Broadway show, and it's a great feeling to make that phone call because you know that you had a lot to do with getting this person's journey started. I work a lot on Spring Awakening. We still cast the tour even the Broadway production's closed, and that's been one of the single best experiences because we do nationwide open calls. We go city to city to city looking for real kids, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, and it's amazing to see their passion and their excitement for it, and it's fun refining their talents and sort of helping them figure out who they are and what they do well, and helping them along.
Do you recommend the casting business for people who love theater?
Yeah, I absolutely do. It's a great marriage of sort of the left brain and the right brain because it's a very creative process. You read a script and all you have is a script, and from there you have to figure out everything. Not only what sort of actor is right for this part and that part, but you also have to figure out understudies and standbys and covers. It's just all sorts of things that you don't normally associate with the casting process. You also get to work with, directors and music directors and producers and agents. So you meet all sorts of, amazing people. And another big perk, because, I love the theater, obviously, is you see everything. I probably go to the theater 5 or 6 times a week. And it's just almost a requirement of the job. We're supposed to know every actor in New York somehow. It's impossible, but we're supposed to. So going to the theater constantly, it's time consuming, but it's also great because you get to see so much stuff and experience so many things. And it really helps hone your skills and your eye. After seeing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of plays, you start to instantly recognize what makes someone special. And that person's going to be something someday. And it does really help you figure that stuff out.
So are you always kind of scouting and looking for people, even if you're not casting a particular show at that certain time, you're just always looking for new
Absolutely. I'm
people?
always in auditions, and we're always casting more than one thing. I have 10 shows right now we're working on. So, I might be in an audition for American Idiot, but someone walks in and, I'm like, they're perfect for On a Clear Day. So, your mind's always going. You're always filing people away and thinking I should bring them in for this because they're not right for this. You could go into an audition for something and end up getting a callback for something else. And you are always looking for actors. I've become a reality TV junkie but because I found that when I'm watching a normal TV show or a movie, I get so distracted by, I don't know that actor. Pause, I should find out who they are. So you get online and figure out who that actor is just to increase your knowledge. It's what you're always trying to do. So reality TV is like my only escape. I can watch that and it's so mindless, and none of them are actually actors, so I can just enjoy it. It's like my one escape.
What shows are you working on right now?
We do cast Spring Awakening, and we still cast that national tour. We cast American Idiot, which is running right now, and we just started casting a national tour of that. We just finished casting Anything Goes, which goes into rehearsal. Actually, it went into rehearsal 2 weeks ago. What else? We're working on a stage adaptation of the movie Once, which I think won an Oscar for Best Song a couple years ago, but it's a really cool project. And a lot of different stuff sort of kicking around. We do all the New York casting for Glee, a television series on Fox. And there's some exciting stuff coming up that we haven't announced yet, we haven't quite gone public with, so stay tuned, I guess is my answer.
How do you prepare for a casting session?
It sort of depends on, what kind of show it is. Is it a play? Is it a musical? Am I looking for big stars to sell a lot of tickets, or am I casting something like Spring Awakening where I need all unknowns? It's one thing I love about casting is no process is the same. When we were doing American Idiot, we were going to clubs every night, hearing, people in these 20-seat clubs, going to see bands everywhere. We would get on Facebook and, find people who had like garage bands in New Jersey and contact them on Facebook to see if they wanted to come audition. And then we cast a movie, My Friend Flicka, that horse movie. And we actually went around the country to riding academies where, girls rode horses, and we would find girls who rode horses who also had an interest in acting, and we auditioned them for the movie. When I was casting the Three Penny Opera, they wanted some drag queens in the Three Penny Opera, so I was spending every night for a couple weeks at drag clubs, meeting drag performers, which was a total trip. So it's always different and weird, but I think that's what makes it fun.
What's the best advice that you could give to someone who's coming to audition for you?
I think auditioning is all about connecting with whatever you're doing and personally connecting to the song or the scene that you're doing. We see so many people, and in New York City, everyone sings well and acts well and dances well. It's not about any of that, because everyone does all of those things really well already. It's about the unique thing that you bring into the room and the unique thing you bring to a song or to a scene that only you do. I think it's really important to keep things really simple and really specific and really grounded. I want to see who you are as a person, what you're all about. I totally understand. Actors come in and they want to show their entire bag of tricks in those 30 seconds. They want to sing as loud as they can and as high as they can and blow you out of the room. But when every single actor wants to do that, when you see 400 actors in a day, it just becomes mind-numbing. You just have person after person, singing as high and as loud as they can at you, and there's just nothing interesting about that. And when someone comes in and just does something simple and connects to it and lets me sort of see a little bit of who they are, it really makes me lean forward, because not enough actors do that. And the biggest goal in an audition, the most successful thing you can do is just make someone like you. If I write, I like him, or she's charming, or something like that, that's some of the highest praise in the world. If I like you, I'm in an audition room all day. I have all the time in the world. Let me like you first, and then I'll figure out if you can sing the high notes, or if you're right for this part. Just be yourself, and don't try to be what you think I want you to be, because you can't win that game. I think it's all about being you and keeping it really, really simple.
How did MTYP make a difference in your career and your life?
MTYP was so great because it exposed me to musical theater. They do so many shows a year, and you get the opportunity to be in classics and new musicals, and it really teaches you a lot about the theater in general. It also teaches you a great work ethic, and I think that's one thing that really separates successful actors from unsuccessful actors. It teaches you have to be on top of your game. You have to do your homework, you have to be prepared. All that stuff are traits that really were instilled in me early on at MTYP. Because competition is tough out there, and you really have to be willing to go the extra mile and work harder than everybody else if you ultimately want to be a success.